iPadOS 26 public beta. First look at the biggest iPad update ever. iPadOS 26, now available as a public beta, is one of the biggest updates in iPad history. There's a new design that changes the look and feel of the whole interface, yes, but also the introduction of a whole raft of productivity features that lift the iPad closer to the neck, for those who want to use it that way. It's like a weight has been lifted from the soul of the iPad. It remains a very nice device to use in full screen mode with all the simplicity attendant to that mode. Or, via a single tap, it can turn into a multi-window, multitasking device that's appropriate for the Mac-class hardware underpinning today's iPads. The iPad no longer feels like it's trying to live up to the promise of being the future of computing. With iPadOS 26, it's more comfortable being itself. Apple is introducing a new design language across all its operating systems for the 26 model year, and that means iPadOS is getting more rounded elements, a bunch of liquid glass elements that are translucent with glass distortion effects and more. In the time since introducing these operating systems, Apple keeps tweaking the design, so it's hard to judge it completely. Apple's trying all sorts of different techniques to keep the cool look of transparent glass elements without sacrificing legibility, with varying degrees of success. Backgrounds dim or are faded in or out to enhance contrast. Text colors sometimes invert. Color schemes alter based on what you're scrolling and how fast you're scrolling it. And in the 4 developer betas that preceded the public beta, the sands seemed to be shifting with every single release. On the iPad, it's a real jumble. Some stuff looks cool, while other stuff is unreadable. For the most part, the new design didn't hinder my use of iPadOS 26. And given those shifting sands, I'm going to withhold my most withering design criticisms for a later time. But yeah, Apple either needs to figure this thing out and fast, or it should just frost all the glass for release and keep working on it in the background until it finds a more usable solution. Apple is over it. Go ahead, put those windows wherever you want, even hanging off the side of the screen, resize them to any size, put other windows on top, and even control them using the 3 familiar stoplight buttons in the top left corner. It works more or less the same as the Mac, and it works on all iPads that can run iPadOS 26, even the iPad mini. It also works on external displays. And I admit to forgetting more than once that I was using iPadOS when it was attached to my studio display. There's a limit to the total number of active windows you can have open at once, but I certainly never felt constrained in my use on a 13-inch iPad Pro, or even on that 27-inch studio display. If you're an inveterate window keeper opener, you might feel differently, but it all seemed perfectly normal to me. Apps that have been built for prior forms of iPad windowing work well with the new system. There are plenty of ways that iPadOS stands ready to assist you with window management. 2. Stage Manager is no longer a windowing system, but just an optional window collection utility like it is on the Mac. You can click and hold on the green stoplight button. Yup, those familiar Mac elements are now part of it. iOS 26 Public Beta Preview. Exploring Apple's liquid glass redesign. Hold on to your iPhones because Apple is stepping into the spotlight with the latest preview of iOS 26, a monumental redesign of its iPhone software, marking the most significant visual overhaul since 2013. But here's where it gets controversial. Can a new look really revitalize user experience? Or is it simply a cosmetic change? Announced during the annual Apple Worldwide Developers Conference, WWDC, on June 9th, 2025, there's a big buzz about the introduction of a fresh design ethos known as liquid glass. This intriguing concept was unveiled at Apple Park in Cupertino, California, and it promises to transform the way users interact with their devices. On Thursday, Apple rolled out the public beta version of iOS 26, a move allowing adventurous iPhone users to step ahead of the crowd and explore the upcoming interface well ahead of its official launch this fall. If you're in the US or elsewhere and itching to try it out, all you need to do is visit Apple's beta website, enroll, and follow a quick navigational path through the settings. General, software updates, beta updates. This isn't just an incremental update. In fact, iOS 26 is touted as one of the most substantial shifts in interface design since the launch of iOS 7, which replaced the skeuomorphic style from earlier versions with a flatter aesthetic. The new liquid glass design makes many of the iPhone's traditional buttons and menus translucent, complete with eye-catching animations as you move through your apps. It's as if your interface is crafted from flowing glass, which could indeed both delight and bewilder many users. With this extensive redesign, feedback from the beta testers will be crucial for Apple, as the company often uses such insights to refine features and address any bold changes they introduce. But the excitement doesn't stop there. Apple has also refreshed the user experience across its other devices, including iPads, MacBooks, and the Apple Watch, bringing the same sleek design to the entire ecosystem. In addition to looks, this update brings practical functionality, especially to the phone app, which now elegantly merges recent calls and voicemails into a single screen. Plus, there are enhanced tools designed to help users filter out unwanted spam calls and messages, addressing a common annoyance among smartphone users. However, it's worth mentioning that iOS 26 does not include promised upgrades to Siri, Apple's artificial intelligence voice assistant, which have faced delays and are not expected to materialize until 2026. Is that a letdown for users eager for smarter interactions? On the brighter side, iOS 26 has adopted clever new AI-driven features. Use Kindle real-time translation capabilities within iMessage and FaceTime. Additionally, the innovative visual search option allows users to highlight items in screenshots. Imagine capturing a lamp from a news article and instantly finding where to purchase something similar online. Apple maintains a yearly routine with major software launches for its devices, typically revealed during the WWDC and rolled out in the fall alongside new iPhone models. Following the announcement, software developers start their adaptations in June, while enthusiasts can test drive public beta versions through the summer to help iron out kinks and preview what's to come. All things considered, will this new design direction resonate with users, or are we simply seeing a fancy facade? What are your thoughts? Are you looking forward to trying out these changes, or do you have reservations about the direction Apple is taking with its user interfaces? Let's hear your opinions in the comments. Exploring the exciting features of iOS 26, liquid glass, live translation, and more. Get ready for the iOS 26 revolution. Apple's latest update isn't just a facelift. It's a total overhaul of how iPhones look, work, and interact. And while Siri's delay has left some puzzled, the new features coming your way might just make you forget all about it. But here's the kicker. Liquid glass isn't just a design trend. It's a game changer for interface innovation. Let's dive into the details. Diesel design meets dynamic functionality. After a decade of flat interfaces, iOS 26 brings liquid glass, a striking translucent system that behaves like real glass. Imagine controls that shrink, stretch, or merge around images and widgets. The lock screen now features 3D spatial scenes using machine learning to add depth to backgrounds, while the all-clear mode offers fully transparent icons. But is this aesthetic overkill or a smart step toward intuitive UX? With updates rolling out across iOS, watchOS, tvOS, and iPadOS, Apple's unified design strategy is clearer than ever. Apps get smarter, simpler, and savvier. Photos and camera go extreme minimalism. The camera app now has only 2 default modes, video or photo, with swipe controls for settings and modes. Photos app brings back the bottom of screen menu, ending the marital scroll of previous versions. Could this be Apple's answer to user complaints about clutter? Phone app upgrades include call screening, auto-answer suspected spam, and hold assist, mutes music while keeping calls alive. The new layout maximizes screen real estate, replacing the old-school button design. Messages lets you set chat backgrounds, even dynamic ones, and host group polls without endless scrolling. Enhanced spam filtering? Yes, please. Safari's tab bar floats above pages, shrinking as you scroll. But here's the question. Will this floating bar disrupt thumb navigation? FaceTime hides controls during calls, focusing on your or their face. Posters of contacts now show video snippets from past calls, like a social media mini profile. Music rolls out live lyrics translations and pronunciation guides, perfect for non-native speakers. Automix beats human DJs at blending tracks, and you can now pin favorite artists' albums for quick access. Surprising additions. A dedicated games app centralizes Apple Arcade and App Store titles, acknowledging iPhones as serious gaming devices. Live translation works across messages, FaceTime, and phone using Apple Intelligence. But what about privacy concerns with real-time audio processing? Maps highlights frequently visited places, sorted by category or city, and alerts about route delays. CarPlay gets widgets, live activities, and a compact call interface that doesn't obscure navigation. Wallet introduces digital IDs for age verification, not replacing passports, order tracking via Apple Intelligence, and in-store installment payment options. Apple Intelligence behind the scenes. Genmoji now lets you combine existing emojis, sloth plus lightbulb equal meta jokes, and tweak expressions. Image Playground taps ChatGPT for image generation. Visual Intelligence parses OCR text from screenshots to find related content or create calendar events. QR code potential, unmentioned but hopeful. Hidden gems. AirPods camera remote for H2 chip owners. Press and hold to start recording. Custom snooze buttons in 1 to 15 minutes. High quality recording and calls and HD camera audio via AirPods Pro. Braille-centric features, vehicle motion adjustments, and a reminders app powered by AI suggestions from emails. Still on restrictions. iOS 26 drops in September-October with iPhone 17 models. Developers can test betas now. Public beta launches this month. But remember, betas often have bugs. Proceed with caution. Compatible devices. iPhone 11 and newer, including SE 2nd Gen models. Full list available for those planning upgrades. The final verdict. Is iOS 26 a revolutionary leap or incremental polish? Let's debate. Does aesthetic innovation outweigh practicality? Should privacy concerns halt live translation adoption? Drop your thoughts below. And for those still using Android, are these updates convincing enough to switch? The iOS 26 era is coming. Get ready to rethink your smartphone experience.